We got to come up with some kind of
opening theme.
Some kind of cold open thing, yeah.
I don't know what's the difference between a cold open and a hot open, though.
A hot open, I guess, would be like if there was like a song that went like, "It's not a podcast."
As the smoke and smog is coming down from the wildfires of Canada into our Midwestern cities.
Right, yeah. Then we learn we have no choice but to take to the skies and join a paramilitary group.
And some people are going to stay down here because their souls are bound by gravity.
Right, so welcome again for another pleasant evening for our show, which is called Mobile Suit Double Zeta Book Club.
Part 2.
Part two. Yeah, we're not just podcasters. We're doing really important stuff. I'm actually trying to I'm hoping to rescue my sister this way.
I'm hoping to save the planet.
Craig, I know Craig is willing to sell us out to whoever.
Yeah, fuck you, Craig, you. Third generation sellout. So where did we leave off last time? Do you recall?
I think our conversation ended last time pretty much at the return to Earth. Not return, I guess. None of those are Earth people. At the landing of Earth of the Argama crew. So, I think we watched it, but we didn't really discuss the episode, or did we? The episode with the with that kind of mercenary sort of army of raw recruits.
Oh yeah, of the civilians getting things. I don't recall chatting about that too much. I guess we could pick up right there for the listeners just to kind of recap, even if we did.
Yeah, although I am a little rusty on exactly the details. I can but it was something it followed this pattern of that we'll see while they're in the desert as they encounter different towns on their way up to Dakar. Where they'll go to a town where individuals get access to mobile suits and try to win some kind of glory or make sense of their own place in the politics of the world there.
Yeah.
I hope that's not too vague.
No, I mean it kind of sums up the Africa arc pretty nicely and what so many different parties were dealing with and encountering.
I really appreciated that. It was something that I think there wasn't a lot of room for in Zeta, even though I remember when we were talking about Zeta, I think back in our first Zeta episode, because they had the introduction of Anaheim Electronics, and there was that one detour on the moon that we were saying how excited we were to see what the political economy was in the world of Gundam. It's so they have these contracts with Anaheim Electronics. This is how they get access to parts and technology and restocking. But we didn't ever, or we rarely ever zoomed in again on what it was like. Whereas Zeta, Double Zeta, I mean, right from the jump, it starts with these kids in Shangri-La, and because of the episodic nature of it, where they stop at a place and they say what's the situation here at Moon, and when they get down to the desert, it's these individual stops where you see how the civilians are taking in the war. I think in 79 you have the refugee camp where Amuro's mother is, and that spy in Odessa, which I thought were real standouts in that telling. But here we get to really zoom in and see what it's like to sort of be caught in the middle of things.
As a locality or as a native trying to deal with these more not globalized,
what do you call that? What's past globalized? Interglobalized? There's not two globes.
No, it's what would it be, like post-globalized politics? Yeah,
let's go with that. Like, we have what's cool is that since it hasn't happened yet, I'm sure there's a lot of writing. I love the idea that there's like people with like PhDs in international relations whose like specialty is the potential for whatever is outside of the scope of a planet. But we can call it whatever we want now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like until it happens. I know that there's some scientist out there, whatever you call it, some scholar out there who's like, in case of interplanetary conflict, break glass, here's all these vocabulary words I've been working really hard on.
Yeah, well, no one reads it. Stuck in a university somewhere.
No one reads it. Some TikTok meme like it comes up with the word that everyone ends up using first.
Yeah, and that's how you get GIF versus GIF.
PSYOP, that was a manufactured argument. Everyone was calling it GIF, and then someone went back in the past that actually when they came up with it, it was GIF, and like in deference to the creators, a lot of people went on board, and some people were like, nah, I don't. I like it how it was.
Yeah, I like it how we always said it.
What do you say naturally, like if you don't think about it?
Oh, GIF, for sure.
GIF? I broke my brain. I hacked myself into GIF because I was young. I was foolish. I didn't know what I was thinking. They told me GIF. I picked the side.
Picked the wrong side? No, I kid.
I said these fools, their souls are weighed down by Earth's gravity.
There's a third argument. And the guy's like, oh, I'm going to call it jive to be a smart ass.
Oh.
That's how English could possibly make a sound, so I'll make it sound like that.
Yeah, that was, I want to force things back into Gundam. That was Glemmy Toto being like, actually, I want to be the real player in this.
Yeah, what a character, Glemmy. So, he inserted himself very well in the localized politics that...
Yeah, the when they like go around Mali and Burkina Faso, the Tegua would...
Yeah. With their blue Zakus and...
Oh, I got it right. Was it Tegua? No, that's something else. Oh yeah, with the blues, yeah.
Fighting for a free Africa.
Yeah, that's so... yeah, that was really cool because you see, like, it's really tragic because it seems like it's a cause. Like I love that, like the Pan-Africanist cause, especially like this is like 87, right? So I think like so it's not long after like Burkina Faso became a state, or the Upper Volta, whatever that was called before. Oh, it's raining here. Hope that doesn't mess up
much about that exact context from 87, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, that's how probably best we don't dwell on it too much. Yeah, it's like in that area when they're doing that thing with the blue Zaku, or were they Gelgoogs?
I thought it was Zakus.
They might have been. I honestly like. I couldn't. Let me look at a Gelgoog and look at a Zaku. They look kind of similar to me. I'm gonna cut that out. I can't lose my Gundam card. I mean, the Zaku have like those spikes on the side.
Oh,
I mean, you can tell they're both.
I guess they are goofs, maybe.
Like the only ones that I can really tell apart. What are they called? The Zagox? The Zgox? They make a return later in the Hong Kong themed colony with that pervert in charge.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting. Like I love the design of things. It was a fun detour.
It was sort of super necessary. It was a fun ride at least.
Yeah, and I loved seeing like all of those like outdated mobile suits like posed in those different ways.
Yeah.
And Judao gets on the mobile suits that that Zeon used on their, like, when they went to invade Jaburo in the original series. That had like those claw hands.
Yeah, they're well designed.
Sorry to jump around, but like another bit of like, mobile suit design. Like I love that moment. This is jumping out way later. We can go back to the Africa stuff. I loved when the Psycho Gundam, like when El Peo, when play like hacked into Platu's Psycho Gundam and made, and blew it up, and then you see like all the machinery.
It was wild. It was
That was good for like a metal album cover. That was
The entire arc was amazing too, though.
Yeah.
The way they covered Camille too, and his reappearance, and that was amazing stuff. Well, let's skip there. Let's settle there for a second. What was your opinion of Camille's comeback?
I liked seeing him again, and it was really sweet seeing Fa's comeback. Actually, she really stepped up from last time we saw her. She was like really taking charge. Like you see, like Camille was in good hands with her, and when she rescued Judao and Bright from the burning building, like ramming the truck into the castle.
She's better up now without that crew for sure.
Yeah, and she's still like finding herself, like she's finding like what the best way to get involved is, like. But anyways, yeah, I liked seeing Camille, and I really liked seeing Camille and Fa together. Yeah, and the Camille, like I appreciated the way he found the presence, like the way he guided Judao, not just like in fighting, but also like in in emotional maturity.
It was a crazy juxtaposition, seeing him act with his voice so powerfully, but his body was still so frail and broken.
Like his state was so interesting, where he was so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like it was interesting that Fa took him away to was it Edinburgh or whatever, to the Scotland?
It was Edinburgh, yeah.
Right, because she was afraid of of him witnessing the colony drop, of like him being overwhelmed emotionally by what would happen, and you get a taste of that with, and like I guess like Camille's like has developed so much as a new type that he's still like even at that distance he's like, I mean it's a huge thing, of course.
He was psychically impacted so hard by that.
Like yeah, it was interesting that like that happens, and like the episode where he's responding to the last, I think it's like the last shot of him sitting by the beach looking out, like he runs away and then he's like sitting there. It's like, what a haunting shot.
It was a powerful scene.
And then it's cool that, and like that's cool, like Camille's spirit wasn't broken, like Baptimus didn't take his soul, because like it impacts him. And the next episode, he's psychically helping Judao fight.
Give him directions. Go to the left real quick.
Yeah. Right, they're like very involved. Yeah, it's like doing like some like Professor X
moves. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I loved like 99% of the execution of that. But I will say, like, one thing did hit me weird. Is like, once the colony drops, it kind of just, like, drops down, and that's it. Like, I was expecting, like, some kind of flash, or, like, a shockwave or something.
I thought there was a brief flash, and they got, like, absorbed, like, into the blast zone.
Wasn't there, like... yeah.
There's a really weird sense of physics going on. It was really weird how it stood... It just stood there for so long.
Like, apparently, like, it could have gone worse. They say, like, apparently when the colony drop happened, the one that is in the background of the original series, I looked it up later when we talked about it. Apparently it landed on Australia. Apparently, like, that one was, like, worse, like, because, like, the colony, like, exploded or something.
This one didn't.
And this one, yeah. So, like, somehow.
I guess in a way, it's more haunting for it not to blow up right away. So you see this structure that ends up destroying this old Earth city. It just
Yeah, like freaking Dublin. There's no Dublin anymore.
It just lingers there for a while for you to absorb what had happened.
I wonder. I mean, I guess like we'll get Char's counterattack. I'm not sure how much Earth is involved. Will that colony just be like sticking out there in future Universal Century Gundam projects?
I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting if it did. It's just like a artifact of this old war. It'd be a choice too. I mean, it'd be consistent with Tomino's anti-war message.
It's kind of like how there's that one colony in ZZ Gundam that got the gas attack, and it's just sitting there as a desert.
Yeah, it was another crazy scene.
And they get to do that thing where Char takes Emma Sheen there. She'll be like, look at, like the horrors of war. Like, look at what the
Titans do to us space noids.
When Gundam can like hit sometimes.
It's crazy that that's the same Neo-Zeon that would support something like a Pan-African freedom movement.
Right, but we see how like the support is superficial.
It feels like anything to take down the Earth Federation, they will do.
Yeah, I guess like they have like no real regard for Earth. Like I don't know why they keep invading Earth, but it says they have no regard for Earth. Like, okay, so if you want to fight down there for whatever, then whatever will help us, get our goals across. But like it was clear like they were just like using them, right? And like that one guy started like fighting back.
Yeah, like this is no way to actually win back the city if it's completely destroyed. There's no people there anymore.
Mm-hmm. God, that's like so rough. Like, yeah, just like raise this whole town in the middle of the desert. And it's an interesting thing. Oh, I guess like we'll just like touch on it. I think hold on. I've got the Burkina Faso Wikipedia. Looking at their Tuareg. That's what they call them. So they're like they go from Libya all the way down to Algeria, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Yeah, but I'm not so sure about Niger. Like it's not a history I'm super well versed in, but like Mali and Burkina Faso and Algeria are famously French, former French colonies, and what they call the white people is Francs.
So that works. Yeah, that's an interesting choice of anything they could call the white occupiers as Franks.
Yeah, I don't have like much more to say. There's not really much to add. I don't really know Cold War African politics that well.
The only other thing I know is that back then, third world meant any like political interest or ideology.
Right, so, separated from the United States or Russia, which is like that applies. Yeah, exactly. Because there's an Earth Federation versus Zeon.
It's super neat that there's other interests being introduced here.
Yeah, and it's natural for that to happen. Like it feels like a very natural sort of deepening of like what you would see in the Gundam world, and it's a perfect like the way that the temperature heats up in Gundam, where it's like Zeta the double Zeta, like how it's like funnier, lighter, campier at first, and then like. Guess the darkest it's ever been.
It really picks up. It was worth it for that campy, funny beginning, which I didn't even have an issue with personally.
Not at all. I liked it. Yeah, if you go back to that first to our first record, I think we were both very positive about that first half.
Yeah, I was impressed with it.
I was looking at the at some of those materials, like some of those interviews. And like apparently when it came out, Tomino like said like he wanted to make it a different thing, appeal to like a broader demographic, and he kept getting letters that were saying how they were disappointed that they wanted something more serious like Zeta. And he's like, and so like they actually changed course in the middle, but then when he killed Reina, that's when they went like, oh, you went too far, Tomino.
What?
Yeah, so then they brought him back. Hold on, let me just find this quote.
I'm surprised he's so responsive to like fan letters to change the course of the series. Yeah,
well, it wasn't just
really?
fans, it was also his staff. Yeah, a screenwriter on the show. He says that on Double Zeta, Judo's sister dies in the director's original plot. I timidly said, that's going too far. Please do something about it. Somewhat unhappily, director Tomino replied, I understand, and he made a revision to the liner notes. When he did that, he wrote in big letters. And then, thanks to the staff, Lena comes back to life.
Yeah, I was surprised to see her still alive.
Yeah, her coming back was... But they did a neat trick where when you see her again, you see her chaperoned by Sayla.
I did really like Sayla coming back. That was a good touch.
That was a nice bit of sugar to make that go down. Like, oh shit!
It actually made it worth it during like the ending for me. But I mean, we could touch on that more later.
Oh yeah, we can go in because her thing is gonna be like I mean it's the perfect way to do foreshadowing for what Char's turn is gonna be for the counterattack, which we'll get to. Yeah, I'm gonna say one more thing about this. I mean, we can just keep going. I just want to go back to the desert thing. I'll just say like this random thing. When they get to the desert, I hate the strong word, but you know, let's have fun. I hate everyone's costume designs.
Really?
Once they get to Earth, like Elle's shirt is weird. The two straps on the one side and the random holes. I guess Judao's got a fun little shirt. Bicha's got like this. He's wearing like this like oversized blazer. Like he's a new romantic. Like he's a singer in an 80s synth pop band. I guess I don't have too many complaints about Plez outfit. It makes sense. It's like the desert. It's like she can be fun. I prefer her overalls with the little heart buttons.
Her
Rose.
Her constant need to want to bathe or shower was absolutely bizarre. That's my one comment on that.
That was funny. I understand though. You know, if you feel sticky, that's the worst.
Yeah, it's awful for sure. I completely agree.
Yeah. I kind of related to her, and it was funny when she used up the last of their water.
She's dumped it. Yeah, that was funny.
It's like the last bit of levity. I think like I'm sure you know it after they go back to space, it gets lighter again. No pun intended. But that bit when they like are at the ocean, they've never seen the ocean before, and they're like bathing and having fun. That was like the last like happy moment they have until like the ending, I guess.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, no. After that, they're just going through shit consistently, for sure. They really do come into their own. Like I'm so impressed with Bicha pulling through after acting like a brat for so long.
Yeah, in the end,
he like finally starts to get it, and it's
right. Yeah, that last time that he was like got jealous and hijacked the Double Zeta, that was like, I know it's just a hobby to hijack to take the mobile suits without permission. There's probably like a quote, like the Argoma has like a thing that's like this many days since someone took a mobile suit and ran away without telling anyone. That one felt like one too many. Like, come on, you're in the desert. Like, don't.
Gargamel was almost destroyed. Like, yeah.
Don't push. This is not the moment for. I like when they're in space and Mondo, who I didn't get to that. What is Mondo's outfit when they're on Earth? Do you remember it? Let me send you a picture.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, I like the little bow tie and overalls though.
Oh, it's cute. I don't know why he needs to look like, I don't know, like Adam, like somewhere between a magician's apprentice and 1960s Robin.
Honestly, this looks like remnants of like 79 Gundam.
I suppose, like I guess. Do we get a lot of civilian clothing in 79 Gundam? I know we were spoiled in Zeta.
Yeah, I don't think we get a ton. I don't think we get a ton of civilian fashion. Oh no, that's not true. They all kind of have their own outfits.
Yeah, but then when they get to I mean, it makes sense that they would go to that they would dress differently in the desert. I don't like a lot of them. I'm gonna put my flag down. Rue looks weird in her leotard.
I didn't mind it either. I mean, for the most part, they were constantly covered up by desert protective gear.
Yeah.
Until
it wasn't egregious. It didn't ruin the.
I see your issue with it. I see your issue with it, though.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I like all their outfits before.
It is a stinker amongst what was really, really crazy animation before.
Oh yeah, no, the animation does not let up on this.
They did pick up that way, just the shadows and the line work and their visual expressions. Right, and yeah, I think they're like, yeah, every like conversation is, they do some cool stuff where they sometimes there's a scene I remember, there was like 3 people in a shot, like 2 in the foreground, 1 in the background, and they're all moving and speaking simultaneously. And I don't know, usually you'd have like someone kind of like be still, you know, in one frame and then cut to someone else in one frame, but like they're all like existing in the space, moving around, like leaning on things, like using their weight. It feels really good. And the fight choreography, chef's kiss.
Yeah, like I talked before, I really liked it in the first half of Double Zeta, on the attempted Reina rescue mission, where, you know, when Judo meets Haman for the first time, like Rue and Elle go to save him, and Elle goes inside and Rue's like fighting off a bunch of like Xeon guys. And I talked about specifically that scene before. I'm not gonna like go into it before, but it was such a cool like a combination of animation, choreography, and like writing. Like first this person comes in, she dodges, she was like, it's like they thought it through. And so like when Rue says like, oh man, I'm killing it, I'm doing so good right now at Mobile Suit, like you saw it happen, so it works.
Full circle.
I just wanted to call out another animation moment. Not animation, I guess a choreography moment. Just for an example of how they really give you, they really show you someone being a good Mobile Suit pilot, or like they really give you like a fight. There was a scene sometime in the desert, I forgot who it is that Judao's fighting, but like he gets like flipped over. I think they flipped over someone else, like another Mobile Suit's shoulder, and he like lands on the ground and flips over, like goes into like a kind of prone like position and shoots.
Yeah,
I don't know if I described it very well.
Oh, you did. What was that? Was that the?
I don't know if that was like Rommel's ambush, part of Rommel's, or if it was against the disgraced leader of the blue goof of the blue.
I'm pretty sure it was that tribe leader.
They did a good job of like making him feel formidable.
They did.
Like everyone had like proper weight. It was what a good show. I really liked Double Zeta.
Rommel's ambush. What a naming for an arc. It's crazy that there's still like remnants of old Zeon at this point too,
Oh yeah, like old guard there.
just left behind. With a very heavy World War II reference too.
Yeah, yeah. And they say it's defeated just because, like the war changes. And he's like, I prepared. Like he did. He had like a bunch of mobile suits in position, following the plan nearly perfectly. Like there's like one guy who got like scared and maybe like gave some hint. I don't remember.
Kind of gave away the position of things, I think.
But they still managed to catch Judao by surprise by himself before he could get backup. Super outnumbered, and still they got all destroyed. I know it's like, it's also TV show logic, he's just that good. It's more to make him look good. But he has a moment like, no, I planned. This is perfect. This is a perfect plan.
There's such a technology difference too. Like, yeah. Good grief. Sometimes the best tactic is to just walk away from it.
Yeah. I've been listening to a podcast about, it's called The Age of Napoleon. I highly recommended. Really good. It talks about how part of why Napoleon was able to be such a successful general wasn't just his strategy, which of course was, Napoleon. But it was also that he had the most modern army in Europe and the most modern political organization. So like a lot of armies moved slower at the time because it was it was a combination of like nobility for the most part, like at the higher ranks, and in conscripts. France had more of a volunteer army, and so they didn't have to worry about desertion as much. So they were able to move a lot faster, and they also had more standardized, lighter artillery and stuff. But they had a lot more people that were had spirit to fight, so they were able to march twice as fast.
That's what a consequence of ruling with populism.
Yeah. A lot of those people we got to defend the revolution. It's good for all of us. And it's on us to protect France. So Napoleon was able to do this stuff where under the old style of war, where fortification mattered more, and where just expecting a slower rate, a slower speed of fighting. This would happen a lot in Napoleon's earlier campaigns, where someone would he would be when he's fighting Austria in Italy, they have a bigger army than Napoleon's Italian army, but what Austria would do is they would split up their army to try to get them in a pincer.
Right.
But Napoleon, he has good communication and he's able to move his army quicker. When Austria splits up their army, each half is smaller than Napoleon's army overall.
So they can't effectively pincer if they're able to respond quick enough.
Yeah, because they would be able to get each isolated part of the Austrian army.
Interesting.
Sorry, that's I just realized the connection is, and Judah was really fast.
I'll listen to that podcast for sure.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
What's it called again?
Age of Napoleon.
Age of Napoleon. Okay, I do like history. I'm a bit of a history nerd like that.
Oh no. I've noticed.
My favorite one is that apparently Napoleon had come up with the term Latin America. So I like
really?
Yes. So I like to argue with people of, why can't French be considered a Latin American language?
If Latin America was Napoleon's coinage.
Yeah.
Well, there's French in Haiti, and in in Suriname?
Yeah.
French Guiana?
Yeah. Actually, I have a map open right now too, since we were talking about different African countries and Dakar. I was trying to make sense of where they were moving.
Oh right, yeah. Where is Dakar? That's a good question.
Senegal.
Oh.
The very tip of it there.
Don't they speak French there too?
With a name like Senegal, I'm going to assume so. That's all I'm basing it off of. I'm sorry, listeners, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'll edit it out if you're wrong. No, they that's French also. Then they go straight from. This is interesting about, I guess, like, but they just talk about like making a push like from there to Ireland.
Just all the
It took them like multiple episodes to get to the Sahara, and then
I guess it's easier to fly over coast than it is over desert.
yeah, and it was also, I guess they were also trying to like be more discreet as they were doing their approach. It was kind of it was like a stealthier gamble, right?
It was.
Things get dark. They get to Dakar to go back to. Man, we're gonna have to like run through it. We're spending way too much time in this in the desert.
Yeah, we are a little bit.
I mean, there's stuff there. Then it moves on and just becomes like the larger conflict, and it becomes less. We got to talk about when they get to Dakar, and Lena has a good moment where she's just noticing how fake everyone is. There's people from the Earth Federation, right? Like at the party there.
And they're just saving face so hard. Well, you don't want Lady Hammond's wrath at you.
Mm-mm.
You don't want to make her mad.
No, she's intimidating.
She's scary.
What a character, though. But like, she's scary. Like, she's like
But
Mm?
as scary as she gets, it was at Dakar that she started running away in terror at judo.
Right, a brand new type trick develops.
Yeah, Lena gets shot.
It's also like interesting whenever Gundam, like whenever the drama of a Gundam episode revolves around a gun instead of a mobile suit.
Yeah, it is.
Like, sometimes things just go down to that level. Like, you see it sometimes in Zeta, I think.
You saw it.
But yeah,
You saw it in the OG series too.
right. When Amuro shoots that soldier at the
That like refugee.
at the refugee camp.
And then during his final face down with Char, he had a bit of a shootout moment. Also a sword fight. I think there were swords involved with that one.
Oh yeah.
I do enjoy the outside of mobile suits moment. Like I love seeing Judo consistently sneak into these enemy mansions and camps and just
Yeah, I appreciate actually, like, every time, like, sometimes it's like, why would this be the best way? But it helps for drama. You get to see the like, it's a more vulnerable position for the hero, and it's like more daring things. But Judo's, he, like, that scene where I think he's fighting Ilya. I could be wrong. Where he does this gamble where he like splits up the double Zeta Gundam, hides behind a meteor, uses just the middle, and then they catch the middle part, and then he gets out and he's just in his normal suit, and he tricks her into opening up the hatch.
Oh yeah, yep. There's some uses for it being modular like that. I thought it was kind of absurd at first, but it makes it work.
It worked out. Yeah. It's cool. Like, I liked in the first half too, whenever he was on the petite mobile suit. Like, I just like seeing that thing move. I like the way they animate it moving around, but it's like another thing that it's cool to see, like, that David versus Goliath angle, or just sort of just like them using their wits to get through a situation.
It's fun. It makes the ride more fun for sure.
I don't have where to connect it. I think I missed it, but if they ever do a Gundam show, I think they're capable of doing normal suit Gundam.
Normal suit. Yeah.
The most is like, oh, well, I can breathe out here. That's crazy.
Time to wreck some shit. So I guess the last thing that happens in Africa is that we are presented to believe that Lena gets killed.
That's right, and that was crazy because like when Haman like shoots Lena by accident, and Judao unleashes his stand powers.
Stand powers, yes. The first time anime fans ever get to see stands is not in JoJo, but it's in Double Zeta.
Yeah, next time I'll say, next time anything happens, I'll say, is that a Mobile Suit Gundam reference?
Hell yes.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And who knows what they're gonna pull off with the new type now? Like, things are like, I'm more and more on board with just anything happening.
Yeah, it's a ride.
I know it's probably like an expression of his pressure, of like the intensity of his psychic will.
His will to survive.
Cool. To fuck up whoever hurts his sister.
Against buff cats.
Who would win, Judao's new type Phantom or a really, really buff cat?
Can cats be new types?
Yes.
Judo better run. I don't know.
Cats are cats are new type, but in the Optimus Scirocco way. If they get, like, they can get a person to do exactly what they want.
God, that's true, isn't it? Just ever being seen, yeah.
I've been at my girlfriend's house, and R.I.P. to my girlfriend's old cat, Mojo. I'm laying down, he's sitting on my chest, purring. My girlfriend's in the other room. She says, hey, can you come help me real quick? I have to think about it.
Did you say no? I got COL.
COL cat on.
Yep, that's our excuse around here too.
I mean, how could you not? It's like when Martha went to the ship, and then they're trying to ask her what the layout of it is, and she just can't. She just gets visions of Papton. It's like, no, I can't.
I can't. No, I've got him on my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So that's canon. Cats are new type.
It makes sense.
Oh yeah. So Dakar, that happens. This is like the beginning of
the sad times.
Yeah, I feel bad for LP Play, who. Oh, so I found this in the document. Oh, I'll later. I saw like something about the origins of her name.
Oh.
According to this, thing I found on the internet, Tomino was looking at a book of fairies or something, and there was like an illustration that was captioned something like the L people, the EL people. So he just like took that.
What is that?
I don't know. I tried Googling the L people. I couldn't find much. So who knows?
It sounds like the C peoples of the Bronze Age collapse.
Right, but these are equally mysterious, but not as but more magical, perhaps.
Yeah, excuse me.
Who's to say the C people weren't magical? We don't know. We don't know enough. Were they Mycenians or Minoans or just randos? But the L people, I don't know. I can't. If I look up L people, I don't get
C
much.
people, I think, were remnants of Ilium.
Yeah, I guess you could go by C, because like the C people, where they invaded Egypt first.
That was Mycenaean Greece first.
Is that when you get like written?
Then the Hittites get impacted, and then Egypt is impacted. Mind you, that's just based on records that archaeologists have found, and just because we can't find anything doesn't justifiably call it a dark age.
Right, it's dark age as in like it's dark to us, like we can't see.
I think that's an important preface that I don't think is expressed enough. Wow, we're really derailing.
Yeah, we'll see if this comes back. We'll see if this comes back later in the conversation.
I think Sea Peoples will come back in a Gundam series. Not this one.
Right, the Moon people came back, so
we're talking about Play. Yeah, Play had a rough during Dakar, didn't she? And that whole Lena dynamic.
Yeah, it sucks that like when she comes around to, because she's still kind of like in this weird like cyber new type space where she's like so like hyper fixated on Judao's well-being, and she doesn't understand what his bond with Lena means, and she's also like insecure about what that means for Judao's relationship with her. she lashes out at Reina, and then like she comes around, starts taking care of her, goes out to do a nice thing, and then a mobile suit falls on top of Lena.
It's messed up.
I forgot what she said to piss off Judao, but there's a weirdly, we were talking about like good animation. There's a weird animation moment where when Judao like bonks around the head.
Yeah.
It's like palm to forehead, like it's like weirdly slow. I bet that came from like the direction being like he's not like trying to hurt her, but it affects her greatly. It was more of an emotional shock than a physical one.
It was emotionally very hurtful, though.
Yeah, they didn't want it to look like a classic Camille slap on someone.
No.
Or, Judo actually gets some beat downs in. It was a cheer-worthy moment later when they go to Dublin and it's bleak in a different, like, more political way instead of personally tragic. When he finds that the Earth Federation's willing to sell out Side 3 and...
Just for peace, yeah.
Right, like a weird kind of greed, like they don't care. And later even we find out they're even like anything to get the population down anyways.
God, that was nuts, yeah.
So, but it was nice that Judao, he gets that punch in on these people. Like I love that he doesn't ever take shit.
No, and I think it's because of that Camille is still the most beat a pilot thus far. I think Camille still has those numbers.
Yeah, Camille's just too. He was in a rough situation. He didn't have like the backup of all his friends.
No, that's true. What friends?
He really hoped Martha would be friends with him. He really tried to get Martha back on his side.
He did, didn't he?
Who's left that he knew, right? It was just like Fa, Bright, Char for now.
Char's mobile suit blew up, so he probably thought he was dead. That was kind of a weird thing about the writing here. Right, the mention of Char's name as though he is still alive.
Like yeah. Now I come in. I got the document. I did some slight research. I did a Google search for this stuff. Apparently, part of the original plan was for Char to become involved in the plot of Double Zeta.
And it was him being a soldier for Haman, right?
Yeah. Like, the plan was he was going to be a soldier for Haman and then do one of his classic betrayals. Probably...
I wish.
Yeah, maybe it's just so we got variety, but it's also funny if we just keep seeing this happen.
Like... So, okay, at first watching this, I thought the lack of Char as a character presence was damaging. But then in the end, I thought, oh, no, this really gave space for Judo and friends to kind of grow on their own as their own characters.
Yeah, and I really got attached to them. Like, I'm glad this ended up being, like, overall, like, even though it had those, like, heavy moments, it was overall a lighter show. It was nice that they got that happy ending.
Yeah. You saying the possibility of Char doing another betrayal move for like the nth time, that would have been a sight to see.
It would have been really interesting to see that because, as we know, Char has never betrayed anyone in his life. And then I would have loved like Haman is such a character that her being the one getting betrayed. Oh, I bet a lot of, like, that plot stuff, I bet a lot of that got recycled with Lemmy.
Yeah, oh.
I think about it. Similar character design.
The motivations felt kind of similar, too.
Yeah, and it's, like, an interesting way how that... There must have been, like, something that evolved as they went. Because Char is in the... I guess Amuro's in the first opening as well, so...
Was there plans for Amuro to come back?
Maybe that got cut out. But they were doing like something with that evolution of those protagonists. We weren't expecting that monkey to be a character either, so maybe that one
That's fair. That'd been kind of cool if they did like some flashback.
They go to an even older colony,
or like during a new type scene, they could do like.
Oh yeah, like a tree of life, like a sort of everything that leads to now. That seems like right up Tomino's alley. I could see him doing something like that.
Fighting for everyone's will. I could have.
We'll celebrate. We'll have as soon as we hit a Mobile Suit Gundam property that includes a monkey. If we get Caveman, that's 1,000,000 points. But as soon as we get to a monkey, we'll cheer. We'll celebrate that.
We'll take shots about it.
We have a counter going. Three shows, no monkey yet.
It took them long enough to actually have a colony drop within the context of the series, and not just in the open.
Yeah, you also don't want to see it, but once war happens, it just keeps going, right? Like the backdrop is colony drop. Like, it's weird to think that it wouldn't happen again, although I want to think that, Hiroshima was the last time a nuclear bomb will ever be used in our species history.
I like to think that too. I
just really need to believe it.
I guess we're talking about real stuff though, right? Not anime, so
right. Like in the context of the Gundam world, you have like these factions that feel isolated enough from the other faction to be okay with doing that stuff. But they do a colony drop, and then isn't it the Earth Federation? Is the Titans that use a nuclear explosion in Jaburo?
Yeah, they're the ones that did that. And
then in Zeta, you have an attempted colony drop.
You have a colony gassing.
Right. A background one, and then within the same, and then another. Oof.
Which one did it darker for you, Zeta or Double Zeta?
I guess overall, especially with execution, because like once they blow up Jaburo, I don't say uninhabited, but I guess the gas, you don't see too much of the immediate aftermath. Double Zeta puts you right there. Like after that colony drop, Dublin continues being a battlefield for a while, and you just see like just this rubble that they're fighting in.
And the colony stays there too amongst that rubble.
Yeah, so tonally for sure, I think Double Zeta goes darker. Yeah, maybe it's just freshness. When I think about how Zeta, how all the so many named characters die in Zeta.
Yeah. We do.
A lot of people lived in those colonies. I don't know what the head count is on either.
Both aspects are terrifying. There's something always more terrifying, but there's something about the artificiality of your space colony getting gassed there. And
what there's also dark is Glemmy. I guess it's just a favored Xeon. It's a perfect metaphor for a sort of fascist death drive thing, where Glemmy ejects a big piece of Axis to launch at
Core 3. Yeah.
He does it again with the entirety of Axis.
Zero humanity is there? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Civil War. It's who is he gonna lead into what was his super short-sighted. It's also a kind of metaphor for Total War. I'm just gonna launch this country at you. I'm gonna throw my entire country at your country.
We'll see who wins this out. Winner gets the ashes.
Yeah. Right.
Scorched Earth policies are insane in space.
They won't just scorch the Earth, they'll weaponize it. And when I think about all the people involved, all the people that were on those on those bases, in those colonies. A colony drop when it's an unused, empty, defunct colony. It's sad for the victims, for the receivers. But the idea there must have been people working there. I don't know how many people would have evacuated for that. It was also an idea you had in the moment, just for the sake of I'm not gonna
lose
get shown up. This is my moment.
Right.
Yeah, I guess Double Zeta is darker for me in the end. Even when I think about the politics of the stuff on the top level too.
It just sucks. This conflict keeps on perpetuating itself.
Yeah, we talked when we did the Zeta episode. We talked about what is the hope for AEUG at the end of it, when it seems that the Earth Federation will give in, or will be like appropriated by the Titans so easily, and Zeon seems resurgent. But you get a sense like, okay, there's a kind of hope possible. Double Zeta, like, if it wasn't for the kind of interpersonal bond, if it wasn't for like this like pure like fighting spirit that Judao and his friends like have, like, I don't even know like what political project they could be fighting for. Like, what, like, it is like you said, like the winner takes the ashes. There's something really bleak there. Like, I don't know. It seems to like ended on like come out as well as it could have. Like, it seems like this incarnation of the Earth Federation won't have much motivation to gas a colony for now.
No, I think they just want to be left alone for now.
Yeah, they've already lost a lot of population, so they're not going to like look for more population to lose.
That's true. Why the heck would that be a political position if not, 13 years earlier you lost half your population in 1 year war?
They must really not be afraid of losing an election.
I guess that's what bureaucracy does. Everyone's so dang complacent.
Yeah, or Dublin mostly votes for the other
party.
For the other party. Who knows? I'm sure that there's some writing on what the political formation of Earth Federation is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a document on that website somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll research, especially for Char's counterattack. I'm interested in how exactly he gets there.
Yeah. Like, how much of Zeon is left to rebuild for him to counterattack with? I don't know how much they'll go into that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm a little sad that like Char's counterattack, I think, is going to be like the sort of like closing of this chapter of Gundam.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tragic in this direction.
Tomino was excited about doing a Double Zeta Gundam Part 2. Like, what would happen when Ru and Judao return from Jupiter. I want to see what's their mission in Jupiter. Like, that could have gone on for, I would have watched 26 more episodes of the show.
Yeah, it did. I don't think it went long. I don't think it went long enough.
They really got something special. But apparently the ratings weren't so good. So after
The ratings weren't so good.
So he didn't get so Double Zeta Part 2. I don't know if they would have called it triple. I don't know, whatever. Double Zeta Part 2 didn't get to materialize.
That's unfortunate.
I don't know what comes after Char's counterattack.
It's crazy that a cartoon can get so dark.
Yeah, and like even this is a fun one.
Yeah, this one that I don't know. Right in social media talk about is this is like the
so goofy. So
this is what the series dark horror. So it's like the happy-go-lucky one amongst a dark series. I didn't think so.
Yeah, ultimately not. I guess it's the one with the most extremes.
Maybe that's why we know the dark moments a little bit more.
Man, I wasn't expecting for Hayato's death to hit me.
Yeah, but it did. At least he's hopefully with cats.
That's so weird that they had that room. Like, there's like this ghost room that they just kept there.
Untouched. We changed everything else about the ship besides this kid's room.
Man, Bryce got some demons. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, Bryce has to figure that one out.
But it's weird. Like after the colony drop, I do feel like the tone. Like we did talk about the bloodshed of Glemmy's coup within a coup. But I do feel like when they got back out to space, things they had fun again.
For a little bit. It took such a messed up direction that even the AEUG higher ups were I mean, they weren't as complacent as the Earth Federation. They're like, no, forget this crew and everything they've done. We're going to give you this crew of adults.
That was a neat moment, which would have probably would have probably landed differently in the lighter tone when it's like when the kids all take the Nahel Argama out, and Bright's like, all right, you go on, kids.
They really came into their own after that, for sure.
And like they're like taking advantage of the strangeness of the tone for this, because the setup that they had was Bicho was just pretending to be Bright. It's like, no, let me. I want to say the stuff. Like the setup for that is just it's a little goof.
He did fine though in the end. He was a good captain.
Yeah,
he's no Bright, but he could be.
Yeah, he was like using the cameras, and and the thing is, like, it's that group that crew works well together. They've been doing this stuff since Shangri-La. Emery gets a moment.
Was that the captain of the row ship? No,
I forgot like what her rank was, but then she was like she became the captain of the Levian Rose somehow. She was the one who had like that weird flirtationship with Bright.
She was so stuck on Bright during that.
Yeah, they really leaned into it. It stopped being like little flirty scenes, and I wasn't super crazy about how they did that Bright stuff.
So I guess I didn't like her so much because every other female character felt much better written.
Right, yeah, like Elle made sense. Like she felt like a plausible like youth caught up in a war. A sort of like conscience for the group. Rue had like she kind of like was a little bit the Char role in Zeta. Not so much in the leadership, but like she's the more seasoned soldier who like understands the needs of war. But she's like fun in her own way, like well defined. Ple and Ple 2 like go through like journeys or really interesting.
They're compelling. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Fa turned out great in this.
Even Chara.
Yeah, Chara was mad.
It was like I loved her before. Like she was really funny before, but she becomes like she gets to really spread her wings when she comes back. Maybe a little. I mean, there's a lot of boob stuff for her. I don't know. That's
sure, yeah.
She's like cartoony enough that kind of works as a gimmick.
I don't know. It wasn't like I didn't find her boob stuff like intrusive or all that fan servicey though.
Yeah, it's weird that they make her like a borderline pedophile, and that's part of the impetus for like bringing back her true character after she's been cyber enhanced. But it worked because like, okay, so like this is I don't know if it's justification, but like here's like a little read that I have with this like cyber enhancement thing. It's like you have like this like fun lighthearted show with a comedic bent. You have like these like fun, Team Rocket-y villains with Machine Ray and Chara. People who are like more interested in like their own hang-ups than they are like in their political goals. And as the story becomes more serious, they get like taken off to the side, they get pulled backstage. When they come back, they've been like technologically manipulated to be like more ruthless.
And to fit in within that darker context.
And Judao like brings out their humanity in different ways. Machine Ray like doesn't get to like he's like part of what makes him like special comes through. And it turned out he was like too enhanced and like ended up like short circuiting him, and
his comeback was a crazy comeback. He's a ride as a character. Like this is a unique archetype if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him in the first half. I thought he was so funny. Every one of his Haman flashbacks, like really, I could not. I could not get enough of those.
It was so just romanticized.
Right, and like I can't imagine like Haman like thought of him as more than a pawn, and then like that gets brought back in like kind of a tragic way. Yeah, it's like their returns. There's something there to it. So then like her doing this like broad, comedy routine, like whenever she sees Judao, is like, now that they're here to fight, like Judao's fighting for this like more like for this like human cause, not for AEUG greatness or anything. Like and it's neat how like that comes out in other characters. That becomes like that's a more serious thing with Play and Play 2.
It is for sure. Play and Play 2.
We're going a little long, but it feels weird if we don't touch on them a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, their standoff was so well built. When the characters were saying like, "Oh, something sickening is on its way," like that was. I'm confused how the heck Gummy got resources to have 2 or more of them, but.
Right, it almost like looked like he had more in the tank.
Who knows where that tank came from or whatever, but I'll eat it as a member of the audience. That's fine.
It's kind of dark. Like that's when you really see. It's weird because like that's like Lemmy kind of has this arc where he starts out as like Soldier A who has a crush on Luca, and he's like a little bit like Mushroom Ray, where he's just like so caught up in like being proper, and then decides that he has a greater destiny and all that.
It's crazy character development. Like these members, these pawns for Axis being these naive knights in shining armor, chivalrous people with weird like system of honor that fits better in like a medieval context. They just go balls to the wall in this space Nazi context.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mushroom becomes like more of a pawn in a way that like undermines the entire premise, and Glemmy seems to like abandon it in a weird way. Now that I'm thinking about it, to have had Platoon like cooking, he must have already have had these ambitions, because it almost seemed like a secret thing.
Like this was some long-term conspiracy he always had in mind.
Right, yeah, he was like the only one who had access. Was it like Neo Zeon had this cooking for a while, and as he went up the ranks, this is me like justifying it, I don't know, as he went up the ranks, maybe he saw what was there, and as his ambition grew, he found a way to position himself so that he could claim as much of it for himself as he could, and that included Plan Platoon.
Yeah, I mean, that happened. That has happened before in these fascist structures. Right,
they just like take advantage of what's there. Right, yeah, I guess a lot of the context for like how these, how the 20th century fascisms came to bloom is because there was a huge veteran population. There was like all of these countries had a surplus of World War I veterans who have reasons to be angry and, a very limited number of skills. Yeah, so it makes sense like someone like rises up and sees these tools available to him. A funnier version, I guess, is the pervert demagogue of the neutral colony where Judao has to dress up as a woman to save his crew. He has like all of those like antique Gundams that we talked about before.
God, insulted poor Judo when he was dressed up too.
Yeah, they have to call him ugly. They could have drawn him uglier. I think he looked like a pretty girl. I don't know.
I bought it. It was funny, I guess, but poor guy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but but Platoon. I think we talked about Play's like development, how she like has like this conditioning. But she's like immediately won over by Judao. Like she doesn't even see us fighting. It's just play. It's just play for her, and she gets attached to Judao.
Almost imprinted.
Yeah. But then like their bond matures to be more than just that, and that's probably like the moment where she stops being jealous of Reina. That might be like when the shift happens and she becomes more of a independent character.
Definitely. They do kind of follows a similar pathway a bit.
Yeah, she doesn't have like but she's not like imprinted with Judao particularly. She just has these memories of like what she has is like this sort of memory of play from her few interactions with her, and then like what a kid was probably just like new type goings ons when she hears her voice and stuff. And that's interesting because it's not a like Judao helps her see that there's a way out, gives her
a way out,
gives a speech about Earth that inspires everyone. But it's interesting that this like this reckoning with play is like, this is the other potential I have. Like I could either be a tool for Glemmy, or I could be more of this
my own person. Which I think we mentioned before with that new type development was not so much the ability to like empath so strongly with others, but to have this self-understanding and self-mastery of yourself, where you're able to approach others with poise or grace.
That's right. Yeah. We talked. Which one did we? Was that when we talked about the novel?
That was the novel. Yeah.
Yeah, coming soon. I mean, by the time this is out, that'll have been out for a while.
For some time.
Right. We're recording these way in ahead. Just for reference, I'm looking at the news. Bill Clinton is president. The economy's great. That's right. Yeah. So it's cool that Plet 2 has a kind of arc involving that. Does she? This is a dumb question. Give myself away. I'll delete this. Is she alive at the end?
Yeah, she makes it through.
She's there at the Jupiter send off.
Yeah, she is.
Okay. Yeah.
She makes it, if I recall correctly. She almost didn't. She almost jumped back into the flames with
Oh yeah.
She was really.
I kind of feel for her.
She was really second guessing herself.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That makes sense. It wouldn't be like just sort of I made this choice and now, because I made that choice and immediately explosion.
No, it's a hard choice to make of like what you know versus what you don't know. Yeah,
her literal programming.
Yeah, it's crazy making decisions when you're tripping on acid. I imagine that's somewhat comparable, maybe.
Right, but instead of acid, it's your psychic link to the souls of everyone who's living and dead.
Yeah.
The tears of time.
It's hard to function when you're in that kind of mind state, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It doesn't sound very comfortable or survivable.
Yeah.
At least not on Earth.
No, man. Like, could you imagine? Just going back to that colony drop. Could you imagine when Judao like freezes up, when this like mass of dead souls like invades his mind?
God.
Oh, what a
shivers. Rip.
Let me see how long we've been recording. You want to wrap things up
now? Yeah, we should. We're about there anyways, because for the most part, this kind of follows what's now appearing to be normal Gundam routine.
And talk about technology.
New type confrontation with the fascist dictator.
Yeah, I think we talked what makes this one stand out. Like, it's another like step up for animation, and the mech designs are really cool. I think I like the character designs better on Zeta, especially their costume.
Definitely, this one had a happy ending.
Yeah,
but you know what? I think even Camille and Fogg got one, and they deserve one.
Yeah, it was so nice seeing them run on the beach. Like, let's give Camille something. At least for now, he can enjoy a day.
A smile.
Yeah, please let me see Camille smile. That's so crazy. Remember when we would watch Zeta Gundam and every episode, he would give us a thumbs up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Little did he know.
He's gonna give us a smile. After so much shit.
He just wants to have a real time with it.
That's still my favorite opening, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, both of those songs.
I guess to close it out,
Mm-hmm.
I think Tomino would be proud for me asking this. Did you feel there was a possible romantic tension between Lady Haman and Judo?
Yes.
Okay. That was not just me. She could have been saved in the end there, and the ending could have been a little bit different.
Like, I think, like, yeah, Judah would have been open to not killing her.
I think he offered to save her, like, hey, jump in here.
Yeah, he did.
She was like, no, but I'm happy I met a good kid like you.
Right? Like, the reason why they had, like, which, like, she spared him that one time when they almost kidnapped fake Minerva, it turns out. She, like, agrees not to shoot them immediately. And then, like, when they have that showdown, like, it was in part, like, because, like, they were calling to each other. They had this kind of, you know what the bond is? Also, you know, potentially romantic. It really reminded me of Amuro and Char.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, Char and Amuro at least got to be on the same side for a little while.
For a bit, yeah. I guess Haman and Judo got to be on the same side for a minute against Glemmy.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, Haman was just so deep in, let's call it her project.
Her sense of power. Yeah, her project. That's the best word choice.
Yeah, there was like a deep kind of connection. I'm not sure based on what, but, like, I guess on potential. Like, in another world, like, if they were just, like, I don't know, whatever age gap, if they were, like, students in the same class or something, they could have had, like a rivalry where they brought out the best in each other or something. That's how I kind of imagined
They
it.
could be high school sweethearts, too, in the end after that, or after that classroom feud, they'd get to know each other better.
Yeah, but no, it's war.
I think that reinforces how I thought that Judo is Char archetype of these Gundam pilots. I don't know, you have this, like, true Space Noid new type.
Yeah.
Fighting his good fight the best he can, or the best he knows how.
But he threaded the needle of that question between Char and Camille, where Char talks about, like, being weighed down by gravity, and Camille talking about that's where, like, life comes from.
He does bridge that, doesn't he?
Like, he even, like, makes a plea, like, the case for Earth, right? That's how he gets Plateau to see things differently. Like,
yeah.
Even though, like, he does not have a good time on Earth, his sister dies, as far as he knows. Right? He sees, like, the worst of humanity when he's down there.
He still... I guess he's the worst of humanity everywhere. I mean, Shangri-La, his home, was like, no...
That's true.
That was no walk in the park for him.
That's true. So I'll go back to, I guess, to if we're going to continue putting a bow on things. What he did have was friendship, the friends he made along the way.
It is good he had that group with him the entire time.
That was a real crew. I really got the connection. Like, I have a weird thing, like, whenever I see Torres or Astonage, I don't know anything about them. I'm, like, happy to see them just because I've been with them for a while.
They're super recurring. They're as recurring as Bright, but we don't know very much.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, oh, hey, it's Torres. Yeah, but you know, there's never gonna be a moment like where, like, oh, I'm glad that Mondo and Judah were able to work it out. Like, they don't have that there's no potential for that.
Or except for Beacha too. Really a far cry from them being betrayers.
Yeah, they started out rough. Damn, they joined Zeon for a while. They were on Chara's crew.
Yeah. Not having a good time though. They very quickly realized.
Okay, I know we're wrapping up, but They think they had the wrong approach to bring Chara back.
They did. They did.
It's not a good pitch to go like, you can wash her dishes again. Don't you remember how much fun he had washing her clothes? Doing laundry.
But you love doing it so much.
I remember it was us, like, I was piloting the Gundam, you were a prisoner of war. What good times we had.
There's some punchlines there, damn. I guess one more thing, it was cool seeing the miners strike back against
Yeah.
Xeon folks.
A great moment. That bit with the daughter was a cool wrinkle. Chara, like, having friction with Plateau was funny.
Yeah, that was.
R.I.P. Chara. That was.
She was a good character. She was fun. I love that design of that red and blonde hair.
Yeah, and like whatever that voice actress, I love her voice. What a cool like that scratchy voice.
That raspiness to it.
It's really unique. She brings a lot of energy to it. Like they really just through sheer force of will made her an MVP, and unlike the MVP for me.
Like a cool cigarette smoker, not like packs a day smoker, but
yeah, just someone who's kind of lived.
Just enough edge.
Who those guys, those bodyguard people that she has there?
They seemed as though they were the enhancements and also kept her in line. I don't know.
Oh yeah, a little bit because they're like, oh, she acts weird, whatever. But they'd sacrifice themselves for her. It seems like in the end, like more human motivations win out, even in the you know, it's like a riptide underneath the overall currents of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we should. I was gonna. Yeah, we gotta pull the plug on this. I do actually have a little bit of laundry to do. I gotta work tomorrow.
It's already. It's been 2 hours. That 2 hours flew by. Yeah,
there's a lot to dig into. What a cool. Once again, I've said a million times before. We both have Zeta. Great show.
I like that they keep on building and improving. I hope that will continue for some time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're just jumping back in just to close out the episode. Can have an ending.
Yeah, Double Zeta is a dark Gundam that somehow ended well, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, the funniest and the saddest Gundam at the same time for now. But join us next time as I guess first we'll take a quick detour through Edgar Allan Poe.
Hell yeah.
But then those ghosts of Char will materialize and we'll get to see him counter attack. We'll see him counterattack. I'm not sure what he's countering. We'll find out.
Federation doesn't seem like shit to counter.
We'll see. Until then, I hope you have some pleasant evenings.
Many more to come.
Okay, yeah. Good night.
Good night. Signing off.
飛び立つ